I don't know if we remember when God was about to send either the last two or the last plague on the Egyptians, when he was set to deliver the Israelites out of Egypt, right? And he told Moses to tell the Israelites that they should dress up, like they should get dressed, put sandals on, pack their luggage, everything, and be ready, like to move. In case he says move, be ready for motion, they should get dressed like as if they were heading somewhere, right? So I feel like we are in that season right now. So the topic for today is get in position, and you may be asking, what does it mean to be in position, right? Okay, let's use this example, this scenario. Just imagine you drive to an ATM, right, and then you see a long queue. So there are 50 people on the line. Now, instead of you to go and ask the 50th person on the line and say, oh, are you the last person on the line? Can I stand behind you? You just stand beside where the line is, expecting that by some sort of magic, everybody should assume that you are a part of that line, and then the line keeps on getting longer and longer, and it never gets your turn. You never get anything done. You just keep on standing there. Every other person on the ATM queue is in position, and they always get what they want, right? They always get to the ATM, whether or not the ATM dispenses cash. They get, their goal is to use the ATM, and they get to use it because why? They are in the right position, they are rightly positioned, rather. So personally, I'm not a believer in having down step by step rules or processes to achieving anything unless it is spelled out in the Bible, right? But in case you are wondering, how do I get in position? How do I come in alignment with God's will? When you read through the Bible and you see um, this kind of a thing happening, people coming in alignment with God's will and God's program, one thing that stands out is what God said. God always said, God always spoke to them, God always gave them an instruction. So to get in position, you need to hear from God. To be in alignment, you need to constantly be plugged, like your ears should be plugged to God's mouth so that as He's speaking, you are downloading, right? And so the easiest way to hear from God is to pray. Yes. Prayer is communication with God, communicating with God, conversing with God. And a conversation is a two-way street, meaning there's a receiver and there's a listener, right? And the roles can interchange. So I can be the listener in this second and be the receiver in the next second. So that is how you hear from God. The easiest way is to pray. Another way is to study your Bible. God speaks to yes, God speaks to us in different ways. He uses movies, he uses people, he uses um, events to speak to us. But then to get to a place where God is using events and people to speak to you means your spirit man is already alert, right? You're already in tune and in communication and in relationship with God. So now let's use two people in a relationship for an instance. Let's say two people just they want to just try to get to know each other, right? They really do not know much about themselves. So we can be in a crowded place and then you are there, I'm here. I won't know, I won't be able to tell who you are, or maybe your voice, because we haven't really started talking and all of that. But the very minute we start talking, you can be in a far place. In fact, maybe it's on a phone call and I just hear your voice in the like passing as a passerby. I'm like, but this is this person talking, right? So you have to start with prayer actually, before you now get to the point where anything and everything can be used. God can use every and anything to speak to you. So prayer is one way to get in position, and you need to, that means that you need to start praying more. There was a dream I had recently, and I've forgotten what it is I was doing, but then someone just came and said to me, this is what God says I should say to you, not as a personal message. If you are praying 5 hours daily, then you need to double it. So we are entering that season. So if you're praying for 30 minutes daily, you need to double it. Also, that is the same message I'm passing across to you now. You need to spend time in the place of prayer. Going back to a relationship between a man and a woman, if your man, because I'm a woman, doesn't talk to you for a day, there'll be a fight. You'll be unsettled. You'll be restless. Like, why is this person not talking to me? What does this mean? Those kinds of things. You understand my drift, right? So it's the same way with God. Their relationship is bound to crash if it continues that way, because it means the other party is not interested, right? So if you say that you are interested in God, then you ought to be speaking with Him. You ought to prioritize your relationship and your communication and your conversations with Him over anything. Because I mean, He's the one that created all of us. He's the one that created the heavens and the earth. Who better would tell you how to live your life and how to do or go about your business or your career effectively? We all need to get in position, because God is about to transform the earth in ways that have never been written before. We have ways that we cannot imagine, and it's not a move that can't stop. It's something that has started and will continue to go on. But then if you are out of position, you're going to miss out, and you're going to have regrets. Now, let's use the story of Lot's wife, right? When God sent the 2 angels to Sodom and Gomorrah to instruct or get Lot and his family into alignment, there was an instruction, and they said, once you're going, do not look back, or else you'll be destroyed. And now what did Mrs. Lot do? She looks back, and she's a pillar of salt today. Till today, she's still a pillar of salt, so they say. So when you are out of alignment with God's plan, there are consequences. When you are inside of God's will, that is only when you have protection, provision, and safety. Even in your confusion or your confused state, God is still leading you, God is still directing you, God is still by you, and He's still protecting you, right? As long as you are in His will. Once you step out of the will of God, anything that happens to you is your own is not God's problem, because God said, do this, and you didn't. Like with the Israelites, it took a 1 week journey. A 1 week journey turned into a 40-year-long journey. And even after wandering about for 40 years, they still did not enter the promised land. We can talk about Jonah as well, who ended up in the belly of the whale. Right? There are so many examples. Once you are in alignment with God's plan and purposes for your life, just forget about everything. He's going to handle it. Your safety, whatever it is that you need, He's going to bring it to you with ease. And so the message, or the town cry rather, is to get in alignment, to get in position, so that you do not get sidetracked or turn into today's modern statue of salt. It is important that we get in position.